Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're going on a deep dive. Are you ready for this?
Always.
We're going to be looking at the career of Chris Bores.
Okay.
So you might know him as the IrateGamer,
Yeah.
or more recently, you know him as the Ghost Doctor.
Right.
And we're kind of going to look at, his whole career and what he's about.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, actually. He kind of came up in the early days of YouTube.
Yeah.
And you can really kind of see, like, how that affected his trajectory and how he's changed over time.
Yeah, his career really, mirrors the evolution of online content creation, I think, in a lot of ways.
For sure.
So, okay, IrateGamer.
Yeah.
So that was way back, early days of YouTube, alongside another legend.
Totally.
Angry video game nerd.
Yeah, James Rolfe.
Yeah.
AVGN.
AVGN.
He really kind of pioneered that whole angry reviewer persona.
Yeah.
And, just hilarious takedowns of these awful games.
Yeah.
And, he would just be so over the top with the rage, and the editing was just so clever, So it was a really perfect blend of, nostalgia and comedy.
Right.
Which is why I think it resonated with so many people.
Yeah, and that's kind of where Chris Bores jumps in. Right. With the IrateGamer.
Yep.
And it's interesting, though, because, his first review was also of Back to the Future on the NES.
Oh, wow.
Which AVGN had already covered. Wasn't that, the start of the whole,
It was, yeah. It was, so, in his early reviews, people were drawing a lot of comparisons to the AVGN, and I think, fairly so.
Yeah.
People were pointing out, similarities in their jokes.
Yeah.
And, the criticisms they were making, even the editing style.
Right.
And so, yeah, some people were even accusing Bores of straight up copying.
So, how similar were these early reviews? What are we talking about here?
So, if you look at the Back to the Future review, for example,
Okay.
they both, Bores and Rolfe, they highlighted a lot of the same issues, right?
Right.
Confusing plot, the frustrating difficulty. Yeah.
The enemy's just not making any sense.
Yeah.
And even Bores ends his review with this, time travel joke.
Ah.
It's very similar to one that the AVGN had made.
Interesting.
And, it didn't stop there.
Okay.
You look at later on, they both reviewed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the NES.
Oh, yeah.
And both of them focused on that infamous underwater level.
Right, with the bombs.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah, the bombs. And they even used, similar visual effects.
Oh, wow.
And, just kind of riffed on the same frustrating elements of the gameplay.
That does sound pretty similar.
It was, yeah.
So, what was Bores' response to this? Did he ever, address it at all?
Initially, he was silent.
Okay.
Which, that just makes things worse.
Of course.
People are going to talk.
Right.
But, things really kind of escalated when an email that Bores had sent to Rolfe was leaked.
Oh.
And in this email, he admitted to unintentionally using some of AVGN's catchphrases.
And he mentioned that he had actually, rewatched all of Rolfe's videos.
Wow.
To, try to avoid repeating that mistake.
So he was aware.
He was aware on some level, yeah.
So did this, clear the air at all, this email?
Not really, no.
Yeah.
If anything, it kind of had the opposite effect.
Yeah.
Because now his critics were taking this as proof that he knew he was copying.
Right.
And that he was trying to, cover his tracks.
Right. So, through all this, was the IrateGamer still gaining popularity?
He was, and that's the thing that I think is so fascinating, is that despite these accusations, he was putting in a lot of effort.
Oh.
Unlike some of the other AVGN clones that kind of popped up.
Oh, right.
Who were just kind of riding the trend.
Right.
Bores clearly had a passion for video games, even the bad ones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what made his, approach stand out?
He was investing in the production.
Okay.
He had sets.
Wow.
And costumes and props.
Yeah.
He would do these little skits with his friends.
Okay, yeah.
And so, you couldn't deny that the videos were well produced.
Right.
Even if his humor didn't always land, you could tell he was trying to create something unique.
Right.
Even if it was within a format that was already established.
Right. So he was more than just a copycat.
Totally.
Yeah. He was trying to actually, carve out his own space.
Absolutely.
In this world.
Yeah.
That was just getting started.
Yeah, it was the Wild West of YouTube at that point.
Right, yeah.
And it's interesting, too, because he didn't just stick with the angry reviews,
Yeah.
He branched out and did other stuff, too.
Okay.
Exploring his passion for gaming in different ways.
All right, well, let's get into that then.
Yeah, so he did this series called Irate the 80s.
Okay.
And it was all about, movies and TV shows and toys that he liked from his childhood.
Right.
And then he also did this series on the history of video games. Yeah, he was like talking about the different consoles and the evolution of different genres.
Right.
So like, you know, you could tell that he had like a deep knowledge and appreciation for games.
Yeah. It wasn't just about like, you know, ranting about the bad game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was more than that.
So it seems like he was really trying to show like, hey, I'm more than just, you know, a one-trick pony here.
For sure.
But did he ever address...
He did.
Okay.
He did, but it took a while.
How long were we talking?
So it wasn't until 2014.
Okay.
Like almost a decade.
Wow.
After the controversy started.
Okay.
That he released this video called Opening Up.
Okay.
And it was like this whole... It was almost 40 minutes long.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Where he basically like laid out his whole YouTube journey.
Okay.
And he finally like addressed everything.
So what did he say? 40 minutes? That's a lot of explaining to do.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah.
So, like, he talked about how he started out making these ghost hunting videos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he talked about how he got into the whole angry reviewer thing.
Okay.
And initially he claimed that he was, like, inspired by a comment that James Rolfe had made.
Okay.
Where Rolfe had said that he found it flattering when people imitated him.
Okay.
So he was, like, basically taking that as a green light.
Right, to just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, pretty much. But then he goes on to say that he only started like heavily copying AVGN.
Right.
Because he was told that he would win this contest.
Oh, really?
Called out nerd if he like submitted his videos.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
So was that true?
The thing is, that contest actually happened after he had already made a bunch of IrateGamer videos.
Right. That were already
being accused of plagiarism.
Hey.
So, like, the timeline doesn't really add up.
What was his explanation for that?
He didn't really have one. Like, instead, he kind of shifted the blame.
Okay.
And he was saying that the contest was rigged.
Oh, wow.
Because James Rolfe was involved in picking the winner.
Okay.
And then he even suggested that Rolfe had, like, orchestrated this whole smear campaign against him.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, like, fueled all the hate that he was getting online.
So he's kind of like...
He's playing the victim card a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, like, he didn't provide any evidence for any of this.
Oh, wow.
And he also brought up that leaked email saying that Rolfe had replied to his apology with this list of demands.
Oh, my God.
In exchange for clearing the air.
Okay, what were the demands?
The only one he actually mentioned was that he wanted Boers to publicly acknowledge his existence.
That seems pretty fair.
Right.
Yeah.
But Boers made it sound like it was this attempt to, like, control him and humiliate him.
Oh, my God.
You know? And, like, the whole video just felt like a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Because he had this chance to, like, really take responsibility and, like, set the record straight.
Yeah.
But instead, he just kind of doubled down on blaming James Rolfe. Right. And perpetuating this whole narrative that he was the victim.
So did this opening up video, like, put the controversy to rest?
Not at all. I mean, it just reignited the whole debate. Right. Some people were sympathizing with Boers. Right. Other people were like, we see right through you.
So what happened to the IrateGamer after this?
So at the end of Opening Up, he actually announced that he was done with the IrateGamer.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like, I'm moving on. I'm going to focus on other stuff.
Okay.
Like the ghost hunting videos and Irate the 80s.
Wait, hold on. Ghost hunting videos?
Yeah.
This is where things take a turn.
This is where we go full paranormal.
Okay.
Yeah. So it turns out he had been making these ghost hunting videos for years.
Really?
Even before the IrateGamer took off.
Wow.
But now it seemed like he was ready to like fully embrace this passion.
Okay. Wait, what kind of ghost hunting videos are we talking about here?
So it wasn't just like him running around in abandoned buildings with a camera, like you see on those ghost hunting shows.
Right.
He actually developed this whole method that he called ghost behaviorism.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was like a blend of psychology and ancient texts.
Okay.
To like understand and classify spirits.
That's so interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it was very different from like the typical ghost hunting stuff.
Right, with the EMF readers and EVPs and all that.
Exactly.
Okay, so ghost behaviorism.
Yeah.
Break this down for me. How does this work?
Okay, so basically he believes that by understanding the psychology of like living people, we can get insights into the behavior of spirits.
Huh.
And he also draws on like ancient texts, mythology, folklore, all that stuff.
Right.
To categorize different types of spirits.
Okay.
Based on like their motivations and their behaviors.
So he's not just trying to, like, prove that ghosts exist.
Yeah.
He's trying to, like...
He wants to understand them.
Understand them, yeah.
Yeah, like what makes them tick.
Right, like their personalities, their motivations.
Exactly. And this is where his background in creative writing comes in.
Okay.
Because he uses his storytelling skills to, like, bring these spirits to life.
Okay.
You know, to give them depth. To make them more than just these, like, spooky apparitions.
I love it. That's a really fascinating approach.
It is.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So, like, did he ever apply this ghost behaviorism to other paranormal stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Like what?
Like UFOs, aliens, cryptids, all of it.
He did? Wow.
Yeah. He believes that by studying the patterns and characteristics of all these phenomena, we can, like, gain a deeper understanding of the universe and our place in it.
So it's like he's taking this, like, almost academic approach to it.
Yeah. It's like a more anthropological way of looking at the paranormal.
It's not as, like, sensationalized as you see on a lot of ghost hunting shows.
It's not about, like, jump scares.
Right.
And, you know, trying to get the most shocking footage. It's more about, like, trying to understand what's really going on.
So it seems like he's always been drawn to this, like, unconventional stuff.
Absolutely.
Whether it's, like, ranting about video games or, like, you know, looking into the afterlife and stuff.
Like, he's always pushing the boundaries.
Right.
And you know what? That actually brings us to another really interesting part of his career.
Okay. So we've got this guy ranting about video games. He's into ghosts. And now there's more.
Yeah. So in 2016, this is going to sound weird. He finds success with puppets.
Wait, puppets? What?
Yeah. He started a whole new channel with this puppet. It was Steve from Minecraft. And he would review toys.
A Minecraft puppet reviewing toys.
And it was huge.
How did that even happen?
So it might seem random.
Yeah.
But remember how he did all that Skylander stuff?
Yeah.
This was the same idea. He was targeting kids who were watching all those toy reviews.
Right. So he was, like, on top of the trends again.
Yeah, exactly.
But this time it worked.
Yeah, this time it really worked.
Okay. So what about the Irate Gamer? Did he just give it up for puppets?
Pretty much, yeah. Like, for a few years, it was all Puppet Steve.
Okay.
The IrateGamer channel was basically dead.
Okay.
Except for, like, a few sponsored videos here and there.
Okay.
It seemed like he was done with that whole thing.
So then he brings back the Irate Gamer.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere in 2020.
Okay.
He just announces he's coming back with the original format.
Okay, so ranting about bad games.
Yeah, full circle.
So I'm noticing a theme here.
What's that?
He disappears, comes back, does something new, disappears again.
Yeah, his online persona is constantly changing.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
So with this new Irate Gamer, was it the same?
So this time there was a twist in his first new video.
Yeah.
He acknowledged the AVGN thing.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, he even made a joke about it.
Really?
Yeah, he was like, relax everyone, no AVGN copying in this one.
Wow, so he finally addressed it.
Yeah, but with humor, which I think is smart.
Did it change how people saw him?
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
I mean, the video did well.
Yeah.
But I think for some people, the plagiarism thing just stuck with him.
Right.
You know?
So did he ever actually, like, clear the air with James Rolfe?
So, get this. A few months later.
Yeah.
They made a video together.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
They reviewed Silver Surfer for the NES.
So they, like, squashed the beef.
Seemed like it.
Wow, after all that.
I know, right?
That's crazy.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, the video was fun. It was lighthearted. They didn't really talk about the past.
Yeah.
But you could tell they were cool.
Right, there was chemistry there.
Yeah, totally.
So what's Chris Boers up to now?
So he's still on YouTube.
Okay.
But he's all over the place.
Okay, in a good way.
Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah.
The IrateGamer is still going.
Yeah.
But he's also still doing the puppet stuff.
Okay.
And he's written books about ghosts and local history. And he has a channel called Ghost Doctor.
Right.
Where he's doing, like, serious paranormal investigations.
So, like, ghost hunting, but...
Yeah, but more in depth.
Right.
Like, he's really trying to understand it all.
It's amazing how his career has just gone all over.
I know, it's crazy.
Ghosts, games, puppets, back to ghosts.
Yeah, what a ride.
So what can we learn from all this?
I think Chris Boers shows us that the internet never forgets.
Right.
But it also gives you second chances.
Yeah.
And you can evolve.
Right.
You can grow, even with controversy.
Yeah, and I think it also shows how blurry things can be online.
Yeah.
Like, when is it inspiration and when is it just copying?
Exactly. That's a tough one.
But I think the biggest takeaway for me is
just be passionate about the things you love.
Totally.
Even if they're weird.
Yeah, who cares what other people think?
Right, like if you want to rant about video games.
Yeah.
Or hunt ghosts.
Or make puppets talk.
Yeah, just go for it.
Exactly. That's what Chris Bors did.
He built a whole career out of it.
Yeah, it's pretty inspiring.
Yeah, so I guess that's Chris Bors.
The IrateGamer Ghost Doctor Puppet Master.
Yeah, thanks for going on this deep dive with us.
Of course, always fun.
Make sure to check out some of his stuff.
Yeah, see what you think.
And until next time.
Stay curious.